Hey! I know you're used to me being all zany in most of my videos, but for this review of Mega Man Legends, I'm gonna be just a little bit more serious. Cause I've got a real agenda. Video game activism. Taking it to the streets!
I'll explain what I mean later. As you probably know by now, I'm a big fan of Capcom.
Made by the good people at Capcom.
However, Capcom has been under a lot of scrutiny lately. Certain characters missing from certain games only to be released with another version of the same game less than 1 year later, and game cancellation after game cancellation. And not just any games, Mega Man games. I'm also a huge fan of Mega Man. I've beaten all of the Mega Man games from Mega Man 1 to 8, Mega Man X to Mega Man X3, and probably some others I'm forgetting. Not only was I a huge Capcom fan as a kid, but I was also a Nintendo exclusive kid. I figured that Nintendo 64 was the be-all end-all of home consoles. I was really reluctant to pick up a PlayStation in the first place, but after seeing great games like Final Fantasy VII, I decided to take another look at the PlayStation lineup. When I saw that there was a Mega Man game on PlayStation, I definitely had mixed feelings. I was excited by the prospect of playing a Mega Man game in 3D, but felt kind of betrayed now that the Mega Man series had branched out from the world of Nintendo. Yeah, I know that Mega Man Legends did end up coming out on the Nintendo 64 a few years later, but that version wasn't as good as the PlayStation version, so we won't talk about that. I felt kinda dirty doing it, to be honest, but I picked up a PlayStation and a copy of Mega Man Legends with high expectations. I thought about how cool it was going to be to fight bosses and use their weapons to beat other bosses and Dr. Wily in 3D, but I was way off. Suspend your preconceptions and forget just about everything that you knew about the old Mega Man. This is Mega Man Legends. While I love the Mega Man Legends series, in truth, the game could easily exist outside of the Mega Man universe. It probably wouldn't be as familiar or charming without the Mega Man brand attached to it because you already have something invested in these characters. But in reality, it has very little to do with the original Mega Man series or any of its subsequent spin-offs. Mega Man Legends is not what you would expect from the Mega Man series.
I don't like the way that looks. Maybe you'd better head back.
So as you probably gathered, this ain't your older brother's Mega Man. Beating bosses for their abilities and then using those abilities to beat other bosses is a gaming mechanic completely absent from Mega Man Legends. This really threw me off when I was playing the game for the first time. I mean, what is Mega Man without that ability? In fact, it's the whole basis of the series. You probably already know this, but in Japan, Mega Man is called Rockman or Rokuman because the whole concept of the original game is based on rock, paper, scissors. The first Mega Man is the best example. Iceman beats Fireman, Fireman beats Bomberman, Bombman, and so on. There's also a running music theme throughout the series. Some obvious examples are Rockman and Roll, Rock and Roll, or Bass and Treble, Reggae, and Dubstep. Okay, not really. So here we have the Blue Bomber without any of his normal abilities except for his Buster Gun. What's up with that? Well, I'll tell you what's up with that. Nothing. Nothing. It's just different, and in the case of this game, different is a good thing. Yeah, I had to suspend my disbelief for the first few hours that I played this game, but once I got over the fact that this simply isn't the Mega Man that I was used to, I was able to relax and enjoy the deep and vast world of Mega Man Legends.
Okay, I know I'm building this game up a lot, but it is the kind of game that you'll probably either love or hate. Just do yourself a favor and forget for a minute that it's a Mega Man game, because it practically isn't.
From the title screen, you're introduced to these Lego-looking guys that, for me, were somewhat reminiscent of the Hard Hat guys, so it's somehow familiar. However, once you start the game, it is clear that you are playing something completely new. This game was released in the days when video game voiceovers were still pretty cringeworthy, so try to keep things in perspective.
You don't need an ID card to get in there.
Are you ready to go, Professor?
Instead of being a Robo-Boy created by Dr. Light to defend humans against the evil forces of Dr. Wily, the story in this game goes like this. It's the future, obviously. And you are known as a digger, a profession that consists of searching dangerous ruins to find treasures in hopes of uncovering something called the Mother Lode.
The legendary Mother Lode.
Did I mention that most of these voiceovers were really bad? So, there are a couple of familiar characters and a ton of new ones. There's your best friend Roll, who used to be your sister in the original Mega Man series. And aside from another character that has a cameo in this game, it's all unfamiliars. The other members of your party are Barrel Casket, Roll's grandfather, who happens to look a bit like Dr. Light, and your cute monkey robot companion, Data, who is, by the way, friggin' adorable. Just look at him do the mashed potato dance. Look at him. The first thing you may notice is that the graphics didn't age that well.
This looks pretty bad.
But they're not without their charm. For me, this game is extremely nostalgic. I probably have more nostalgic feelings about this game than most others. For the time, the world was so vast and beautiful despite its mid-PS1 era blocky design with stretched textures and polygonal clipping issues. The gorgeous blue skies and wide open spaces truly create another world for me that I would love to live in. There is big time immersion in this game. The graphics look totally like anime, which I was really getting into at the time. It's Mega Man-anime. Oh. Anyway, the next thing you'll probably notice is that the controls are a bit janky. It takes a little bit of getting used to using the shoulder buttons to turn, but keep in mind that this game came out prior to the DualShock analog controllers, so be patient. What I would describe as minor nuisances may be a deal breaker for others. Antiquated in many ways, graphics, controls, voiceovers, etc.
You can't enter the city without one.
The game starts by cutting to the chase and throwing you right into the action,
Wait a second.
after a brief tutorial. At the end of the first ruin, you're introduced to the first boss, and he's massive. Actually, the use of scale in this game is amazing throughout.
Are you paying attention? You're not gonna get through this, robot.
Wow, that's pretty big.
After you raid your first ruin, you crash land on Cadillac's Island and the story begins. And what a story it is. It's surprisingly deep compared to the old Dr. Wily has escaped from jail and unleashed unfortunately themed robots on humanity for Mega Man to sort out. What starts as a quest to find Roll's parents and to find the legendary Mother Lode
Began to be whispered
oh brother,
among them.
turns into something much bigger and more urgent. Instead of just dealing with Dr. Wily and his minions, you're introduced to a new group of antagonists, the Bond family. Teasel,
Hey, you!
Chon,
Let's do it.
Bomb,
Things in working order.
the Servbots, and their many evil creations. That's not all. Something is wrong on the island as long-dormant Reaver bots in the ruins have awakened and something big is about to happen. So, in effect, you're having to deal with two different groups of enemies at the same time. The plot thickens. Now, there are even more differences between this game and the other Mega Man games that I mentioned earlier. Mega Man Legends is a very unique mix of action, adventure, and RPG all rolled... Sorry. all rolled into one. The amount of detail and care put into this game is still impressive even for a game that's a decade and a half old if you ask me. There's so much depth to this game. It even includes minigames, side quests with real-life impact within the game, RPG elements that go pretty deep without being boring, a huge map, a winding and interconnected tunnel system known as the Ruins, and other hidden surprises. A great example of the depth of this game can be found early on. In the mall, there's a CD shop where you can listen to CD samples of full-length tracks that don't even appear anywhere else in the game. Speaking of which, the music is brilliant in this game. So varied and catchy, and there's a ton of it. Although Mega Man doesn't upgrade his weapons by defeating bosses, you still have an arsenal of weapons that you can find or buy and upgrade. The upgrading process is actually fairly deep, and you can even combine items to create new weapons and items. Another RPG-ish element, aside from talking to the townsfolk and searching objects to find hidden items, you'll probably also do some grinding for Zenny, the game's currency, to buy one of the many and often expensive upgrades. Along the way, you'll end up doing a ton of backtracking and discovering different paths and modes of transportation across the massive island.
Your mileage may vary, but it will probably take you 10 to 15 hours to beat, depending on how deep you want to get into it. And as far as replay value is concerned, for me it's the kind of game that I like to dust off every year or so just to play through. For fun. Go for the fun.
Mega Man Legends, or Rokuman Dashu in Japan, spawned a spin-off called The Misadventures of Tron-Bon, followed by a sequel to Mega Man Legends 2. Of the three, the first Mega Man Legends is by far the easiest to find. A used copy runs around $25 online, and it was originally part of the Greatest Hits series on PlayStation, so it's not much more than you might have paid for it brand new back in the day. Mega Man Legends Offspring, however, will run you more than just a few measly zenny. Mega Man Legends 2 probably runs around $80 plus online, and the super rare Misadventures of Tronbon will easily run you $100 plus, and this is one of the rarest and most sought after games on the American PlayStation. Yeah. I bought Mega Man Legends not too long after it came out, so I only paid around $40 for it. But when the Misadventures of Tronbon and Mega Man Legends 2 came out, I was constantly putting them off and waiting for the price to drop because I was a bit strapped for cash at the time. Man, what a mistake that was. I don't even want to tell you what I paid for the Misadventures of Tronbon and Mega Man Legends 2, but I probably got off easier than most people. If you're interested in checking this game out, I would definitely recommend buying it online and playing it through just to make sure that you like it before you start the long journey to find an affordable copy of the other two. Now, for all I've said about this game, good and bad, and I've just scratched the surface, there's still something missing. Something largely intangible and abstract. Now forgive me if this is the nostalgia speaking, and I'd like to think that it's not, but there is an indescribable feeling and charm to this game that is rarely seen in games new and old. The world that is created here truly feels to me like another reality, and holds a sense of longing, or something else that I'm failing to articulate. The graphics, gameplay, music, and depth, sure. But there's also the charm, the humor, the interaction between the characters, and the je ne sais quoi. For some reason, this area in particular was a huge moment for me the first time I came across it. Is it the wide open space? The palm trees? The blue skies and white puffy clouds? Or something in between? I'm sorry for getting all corny and sentimental on you, but this game changed my life in terms of perspective, and I still look back on it with great fondness, and I always will. It didn't necessarily age all that well, but it's worth checking out for sure. It was expected that Mega Man Legends 1 and 2 would come out on PlayStation Network, but unfortunately, those hopes were dashed due to legal issues. That's not all that was cancelled, but I'm getting to that. The Mega Man Legends series definitely had, and still has, a cult following. Alright, now to the crux of it.
This is it.
This series that was so dear to my heart and the hearts of countless others is dying. Mega Man Legends 3 was supposed to come out on the 3DS, but it was cancelled indefinitely on July 18th of this year. I can't tell you how excited I was when I heard that this game was coming out, despite Keiji Inafune, the Mega Man series co-creator, leaving Capcom, and how incredibly disappointed I was that it was being cancelled. But hopefully, all is not lost. There is a large and growing collective on the internet that is trying to get Capcom to release the game. One such collective is 100,000 strong for bringing back Mega Man Legends 3. They're basically trying to get 100,000 people to show their support for the game so that Capcom might see the error of their ways. The production of this game was very unique because Capcom was listening to fans' input on what they wanted to have in the game. There was a development room that was created for this.
There are a number of theories why Capcom canceled the game, but it seems that the best thing we can do at this time is to join the Devroom and sign the official Capcom recognized petition. In addition, be sure to go on Facebook and check out 100,000 strong for bringing back Mega Man Legends 3. Click that like button on there so they can reach their goal of 100,000, but it's also very important that you go on the Devroom and sign that petition. That's the long and short of it, but be sure to check out the links below for more details.
Rumor has it that there's something to this, and that it might actually make a difference. But even if it doesn't work, we will know that we've done all we could. At the time I'm releasing this video, 100,000 strong for bringing back Mega Man Legends 3 is about 1/2 of the way to their goal. The way I see it, I have nearly 10,000 subscribers right now, and hopefully even more than that will see this video and follow through on this. Please do what you can to help out and tell your friends. Seriously, we could be responsible for about 10% of meeting this goal. Think about it. We gotta get this game out. If you played Mega Man Legends before, you probably already know what a wonderful game it is, and if you haven't, and it looks interesting to you, I implore you to check out this amazing series and help keep it alive. Even if you're not interested in this series, or if you tried it out and didn't care for it, please do us all a favor and not let Mega Man Legends turn into another Mother 3. Not even that, but worse, a game that never sees the light of day anywhere in the world. Let's do what we can to make this dream a reality.
So there it is. I'm asking for your help. The fans of this series are asking for your help. Please help us do what we can to make sure that Capcom knows it's a simple matter of supply and demand. The demand is there. They simply have to supply it. I need you. The fans need you. Mega Man needs you. Thank you.
I'm sorry, Mega Man. I had some engine problems, and
It's okay, Roll. But I'm glad you showed up when you did.
anytime, Mega Man.